You're listening to the Midwest Coven Cast. I'm Susie.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Marilyn.
We're three modern pagans stumbling through life and honoring our craft.
Join us in conversations about, well,
just about everything.
And we hope that you enjoy this week's episode.
Welcome back, Coven. How are you?
Welcome.
I know you can't answer me, but you know.
You could
I'm
always
gonna pretend like you're all gonna be like,
Oh, Samantha with the ritual candle.
She
Yay.
remembered.
I want to
I'm
do this
so
too. I've
proud.
wanted to do this since it's been here.
Yes. So
Oh, man, it's
what
kinda
she's
sticky,
doing right
huh?
now, I got this.
Here, I'll let you do it. I'm scared.
Time turner sort of deal. It's like it's literally an hourglass. It's really fancy. And if you are following on TikTok, then you know that I posted a TikTok about this. It's beautiful. And it just like spoke to me and I had to have it.
Yeah.
So I bought it.
Now we'll know
And now I have it.
somewhat what time how long we've been yakking at for.
Yeah, we're going to have to be like, get on topic. We aren't too bad.
It's an awesome topic this time, though. I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm so excited. Me
And
too.
I have to admit, so this was actually an inspiration from a friend of mine at work. He had brought up the fact, hey, why do you guys talk about, like old school toys? And then that led us to actually an even deeper of just a nostalgia episode in general. So it
Our
was actually...
childhoods were so much better than the times right now.
Yeah, well, I think we joked like a week or two ago, or like on one of our episodes, we said something like joking about how we are vintage now. So like,
Yeah,
well,
I
I was thinking on the drive here actually that I've been in college for almost 17 years now.
well,
I mean, not
I've been in college for
the whole
almost
time.
20 years.
Yeah,
now.
like-
Hello.
Now you haven't almost. Not
You've got a
full-time,
lot more degrees
but
than me, though.
more.
I'm still working on the first.
You know what? Progress and persistence. It's a good thing.
Hey, you know what?
The
I
little
have
train
been-
that could,
That's
eventually.
absolutely.
I've been a college dropout for about the equivalent amount of time, so what's better,
You know what? But you still read. You try
I
and
do.
make yourself better.
I do self-improvement stuff, but, it's...
Yeah. Well, let's start back in the 80s, though. Can we go
Wow.
back in time?
I have a feeling I'm the only one of us who even remembers the 80s. Because I was born in 84, and you two were like way later in the 80s.
89.
I kind of have
literally
memories
3
of
months.
one thing that might have happened near the end of the 80s, but I'm not 100% sure when the event happened. So that was my...
Your burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was around 1.5 or 2-ish, because I was born in 88, and then we were on a family camping trip, and I tripped. I was chasing a candy wrapper or something, and don't litter. So I went to chase it, and I probably didn't know don't litter. I was probably just like, hey, look at that shiny thing blowing in the wind, and I probably chased after it, but whatever.
Yeah.
I was chasing after this thing, apparently, and I tripped over the fire grate, and I went down in the hot ashes. It wasn't on fire,
I
but it was
remember
the ashes.
when your hands were like
After.
bandaged and stuff after.
Yes.
I can kind of imagine because I had it happen to my face in the 90s, but
Yeah,
but like
heard
on my
about it,
hands, I couldn't
like,
imagine that part of it because it's like, you lose your like dexterity and like
Yeah.
whatever, and you were really young at the time.
And my mom said that I was like putting my hands together and like rubbing them, and it was
like,
just
ooh,
peeling the
your
skin
skin
off, and she had to hold my hands like
apart.
when they tried to find the nearest hospital, because like I said, we were camping, we were like they had to figure out where that was,
Right.
and this was before GPSs and
Yeah.
before you had cell phones.
Yeah.
So that was my
That
first
was-
traumatic life experience
Yeah.
that I remember-ish. But yeah,
So
let's start
the
with
80s were
your
like traumatic for
childhood.
you. Mine weren't as bad. But now that we say, we're saying that traumatic, so this is not the same, and I don't want to even like compare trauma here. But now that you say this, actually, it brought up another memory for me. So I went to Disney World in the 80s, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because as I have been told more recently, I guess when I went to Disney, or I guess it was Disneyland, Disney World, it's the one in Florida. But anyways, It was when Mom was like almost ready to have you. And so we went to Florida like the week before she was going to be induced. And then we got back like pretty much right after she had you. And so you were born in 89, so that's when I went, because that's apparently when I went, is like right before you were born. And so the reason this brought up memories is for me is like one of the I have very few memories of this trip, but one of them is we were walking towards the Dumbo ride. And I reached up.
Is that like the Small World one, or no? Is that two
no?
different
The
things?
Dumbo ride sort of like has these big old Dumbos that you sit in, and then you like fly through the air, kind of. Yeah.
She's like, I was looking forward to that.
Small World,
ride.
you go through like crazy tunnels with these animatronics, and it's.
And it visits all the countries, right, or some. I've never been to Disney.
I think it's the countries. I barely remember it. As you can,
from videos I've seen, I think that's right. I've
so
not been there, obviously. But.
That goes to another. So let me finish the one story about the Dumbo ride, because this is like another trauma.
Oh my gosh.
World. Anyways, I reached up and to hold Uncle Dan's hand.
Nostalgia, not trauma.
And he was a smoker at the time, and I burnt my little hand on his cigarette. But like, so I remember that.
Talks to just that time too.
I know.
You could walk around in a theme park smoking.
Yeah,
a child right next to you and not give a shit. Like, this is fine.
Freedom.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I mean,
so
it was a free time. That was kind of nice.
But maybe unhealthier.
We were so ignorant to how bad we were. So it was so
it was a toss up of things.
Ignorance
no fuss
like,
given.
But like, yeah, so I don't remember a whole lot from that trip, except for like
burning
more
yourself?
or less bad things like that. And then I also remember when we went through It's a Small World, because like Justin and I, so Justin is one of our cousins, and he is like just like 2 months older than me. No, Justin's only like 2 months older.
Okay, whoops.
He was born in August and I in October.
That's why he was in charge at the river that day when I cut my
He's
foot.
older than you. I don't care that Mom hired you as the babysitter. Justin's here. It was terrible. It was a terrible day. But anyways. Oh, God.
And you had to carry me all the way home?
I think I carried you up to the ice cream place. But I was like running.
Well, next door to it was the fire station.
Yes.
And you brought me there, and they just kind of looked at me like, what are you, why?
Yeah.
You don't have first aid kit here,
first aid or anything.
They put a Band-Aid on it, and we're like, you gotta go home.
She like cut her foot like fuck.
Don't go to the fucking hospital.
I could see my bones and stuff.
It was bad, yeah.
I couldn't feel it, though. At that point.
Cut the nerves at that point.
You probably were like, a little shots. I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
I'm like,
I'm in charge of this human being, and she's...
well, not according to her, but I was.
And we had our bikes with, so she was trying to like bring my bike home with, and like...
Oh my god, it was terrible.
You can't leave the bike behind, because that was expensive, you know? The parents would get pissed off at that.
Why is it that we only remember the trauma? It's like...
It is
I don't know.
true.
It's like you remember the bad things more than the good.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess, we can go back and laugh at some of it now. Like, I was starting to tell you about the animatronic story. Like, so Justin and I...
World?
So Justin and I, at Small World, Justin and I were so, like... We were scared as fuck. Like, we screamed and cried the whole way through that ride. I remember. And it was...
Was there something specific that you remember set it
Was it
off?
just the
or was it just
things?
the whole thing?
The things moving?
I think it was just like, it was dark. The animatronics are kind of like, there's like this term. It's like, uncanny valley. I think that's what it's called. Uncanny valley. So it's like this idea that like things that look quasi-human or like move quasi-human but not quite.
Yeah.
It like creates this like distress in people.
I've
So
seen
because
that.
it's kind of creepy and
Mary
it just,
had
like,
a doll
creeps
in
you
her
out.
basement that had that going on with it. So I totally know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it creeps people out. And so I think that it might have just been that. And then like, you have Justin and I who are about the same age. Like we were young because like we were like 4 or 5 years old. Mm-hmm. Not quite 5, I think maybe. And like...
Were you two sitting together?
I think we were
the
in
grown-ups
like...
were together?
I think each of us had a grown-up, but they were like sitting next to us in a cart, but it only held like 2 people, I think. If I remember correctly.
So the grown-ups were there to comfort you, and still that was not
That was not a
enough.
comfort. And it's like, and you're like going through these dark tunnels, kinda, and it's just like... I don't know. Like, I don't remember, like, what set it off.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that other people have gotten creeped the fuck out on that. Like,
well, yeah, it's a dark cave. Mm-hmm. Well, I remember a family vacation. I was probably looking at the photos, like 3 or 4, but it was to somewhere in Tennessee near Ruby Falls called, like, I can't remember the exact name, but it was like Fairy Tale Caverns or something.
I think I remember you telling us
and it was like glow in the dark little reincarnations of like troll looking fairy tales that are in the caves. And you go walk through the caves and there's like the big bad wolf, and I think there's like the woman who lived in the shoe
on water?
And like
you're floating through it on water.
I don't think
like
so.
A boat?
No.
Is that on water?
I can't remember if it might have been a rail, like more of a
like
not
you're
a train,
in, but you're
like,
in some sort of a
ride
thing that you're sitting in, and then you're going through it.
Right. Yes.
Same thing with that. It's like you're sitting in something and you're going through it.
It's a walk through. Like you walk through the cavern.
Okay. Well, never mind then on that.
But other than that, like, I mean, I sort of remember that your memory kind of triggered my memory of the Disney trip. But like, other than that, I don't remember a whole lot about the 80s. Like, I remember sort of liking like Strawberry Shortcake, and like I had my Gem dolls because I was obsessed with the TV show Gem, which it like tracks for me considering like I have pink hair now, and not gonna lie, it was inspired a little bit by Gem because of, I'm still quasi obsessed, and like also I love to sing, and like music has always been a big thing for me, so tracks, but I also like Fraggle Rock. Again, lots of music.
Fraggle Rock, what's that?
It's like a Jim Henson Muppet thing, but they live in this cave, and like they're just like these little puppet people. Like, I don't know.
Okay. I've seen it before, but I don't remember it at all. Like I remember,
I vaguely remember it. Like I don't remember the character names really or the storylines really, but I remember I loved it.
I remember looking it up because other people were mentioning it. Like recently, like as their nostalgia things, but I didn't remember it like from my childhood.
Right. Well, and I also remember again trauma apparently. So I remember Susie and I used to go to this babysitter, and she had a son who watched this television show called You Can't Do This on Television. It was like some Nickelodeon show, but the opening of it's very like, it looks almost like an arcade or like a puzzle or something. I'm sort of remembering, but not exactly. And it had like this creepy head that spun around, and it looked kind of like a cartoon. It looks very similar to like the style of like, the Monty Python sort of animations and whatever. It kind of reminds me of that like now to a degree. But I was like fucking freaked out anytime this particular show's opener came on, like the opening sequence. Like, I would scream and cry, and they had to, like, make sure that when Jason was going to watch that, they'd bring me out of the room for the first few minutes.
There's subliminal messages in it, and you knew it. Your brain was like, fuck that show.
I don't know what about it scared me so bad, but, like, it terrified me. I have literally no idea why.
I've been like that, dude. But it really was creepy. I think it was the beginning of Walking Dead.
It is.
I hate, or no, it was American Horror Story.
Those are sometimes really uncanny.
Those ones I hate.
Out.
They give me the weird chills, and I fast forward through them every time. I just don't like them. No, I'm good.
I'll still watch them sometimes, but like, yeah, I agree. Like,
was it that kind of a feeling that gave you though? Like,
well, I don't really remember. I just remember being terrified of it.
That was like X-Files for me as a child. My dad would watch X-Files, and we would watch with him because like that's what what was on.
I remember the beginning of that thing. I'm sorry.
But like he would like tell me that like some of the things were real, and like then we would go camping, and like he would pretend that those things were in the woods, like trying to
bushes, and be like,
that's where the PTSD started. I don't know.
Sticking all of the fingers through the bushes, like.
But he would like tell us that like the werewolf men were real, and like that they lived in the woods, and if we wandered off as children, they would get us. And then when we were in our tent sleeping, they would like go and howl in the woods and be all ridiculous.
As a parent now, you think about doing that shit, it's just like, that's so mean. Like,
instill trauma in them now, and then they'll be obedient.
Yeah.
Oh
they'll be fine. They'll be fine. They're just
theory.
kids. They'll shrug it off. They're fine. You're alright,
like,
girl.
Moving on from like I said, most of the TV shows are like sort of a tie to my love of music, which I remember some music from the 80s too. Like I feel like Michael Jackson, and then there's like Wilson Phillips. Although Wilson Phillips might just be the early 90s. I can't remember. It's kind of like that in between time, and I don't remember exactly.
They may have started in the
My
80s,
memory's a
but they
little
went
fluid.
through the 90s, so...
Yeah, that too. And so...
Because, I mean, Michael Jackson, come on.
Yeah.
He's
a classic from that era, for sure. And then Wilson Phillips, I think they were at least in the late 80s, maybe.
What was Wilson Phillips again? I know that
it's
name.
It's a girl group, so...
What did they...
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. I'm like, I'm so bad with names of...
I am too.
Someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye. So, yeah, and I think they kind of started my, like, love of harmonies and things like that, because they're like one of those who are known for, like, their really tight harmonies. So, yeah.
Speaking of harmonies, like where I come in with music anyways is obviously 90s, but if we'll kind of transition to the 90s now since we have a lot of stuff. But yeah, In Sync. I love their harmonies.
Oh, yes.
And when they go, what is it, with acapella? Their acapella harmonies are just beautiful.
Yeah.
And yes, so it was In Sync, it was Backstreet Boys, it was all over the fucking walls and posters, it was in notebooks.
I had a loyalty
cards.
thank you. I just listen to Backstreet Boys sometimes, but like In Sync was like, if you were a 90s girl, you were on a side.
Yeah. I was an In Sync girl. I think you influenced that a little bit.
Probably.
I was more Backstreet.
Yeah?
You were outside my sphere of influence.
And 98 Degrees though too.
Oh, yeah.
They were in there too. They were.
Hanson was a big one for me. I think above all of them was probably Hanson.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I remember I liked Hanson and I was definitely a fan of Hanson, but then like I think when Marilyn went to college, she had a friend, Sarah, who was just obsessed with Hanson. And so my love of Hanson kind of came back a little bit because I didn't give them the credit of they're very talented.
They are super fucking talented.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, this is kind of a funny story about Sarah. So I met her actually through a friend.
She's great.
And it happened like on a total fluke because somebody I worked with had been in a car accident. We were kind of like work friends-ish. We hadn't talked too much. We were in different departments, but we like talked a little bit here and there. She was in a car accident and she needed a ride home. And so I was like, oh, I'll give you a ride. That's fine. You know,
was she a little fender bender, I assume it was something.
Well, her car was in the shop. I mean, not like a bad car accident, no. Like she was okay, but like her car was, I can't remember if it was totaled or being worked on, whatever. Anyways, she was without car and needed a ride, and so she asked if I could drop her off at this bar instead of home because she had friends at this bar. And I am somebody, I don't really drink that much or whatever. The bar scene's never really been my thing, and I just planned on like dropping her off and then leaving. But she's like, "Do you want to come in?" And I was like, "Didn't really want you, to be honest, because I like I'm an introvert."
Right. Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll go in. So it was like fate because
you guys just hit off.
So Bobby, who was the friend who I was dropping or supposed to drop off and who invited me in, she was dating Sarah's brother, and so she was meeting
him there.
Yeah,
right.
And so Sarah happened to be there with Guy, and then I think it was like a night later we were supposed to go over to Bobby's to hang out. Like it was like literally the second night I met her. Like obviously we really hit it off on the first night that like I wasn't really a smoker, but she went outside to smoke a cigarette, and I was like, I'll go with you just to talk or whatever, because she wanted someone to go out. And like, I was like, I just met you, but why the fuck not?
You seem cool. Let's go spend more time together. Why not?
That's fine. Yeah. So anyways, we ended up going, talking whatever. The next night we were supposed to hang out with Bobby, and I go into her house, and like she was like, okay, then when you walk in here, like she kind of warned me about something, and I was like, what the fuck is about to happen? Because this is literally like the second time I've ever seen this girl in my life. But I thought she was pretty cool. So anyways, I walk in and she has this shelf, and it's like a Hanson shrine. And I was like, you are my people. like it wasn't for Hanson, but like I have been like the girl groupie type, like In Sync. I posted, like I had a whole wall that was like literally whole wall of In Sync. So like I get it, I mean, we
So
were a
what
little
did she
older,
have? Was it
but
like a bookshelf, or was it like what was it?
it was like a thin bookshelf thingy, and it just like had all kinds of Hanson memorabilia. Because I mean, she's been to like lots of Hanson concerts over the years.
So she had
like,
pictures of her at this one and that one.
Yeah,
and, like,
and merch and ticket stuff.
Oh,
like
okay. Oh,
some
that's so
framed
cool.
pictures.
See, I've never
and, like,
seen them, but I love Hanson.
Yeah.
I've never seen them either, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Like I suspect, and
I've been to very few concerts.
Yes, the same here. But I suspect, I think that they are the Russian dolls on The Masked Singer right now.
Has anybody guessed that? Have any of the judges guessed it?
I'm not sure. I don't really watch it. I watch the performances, and that's about it.
Oh,
and sometimes
okay.
I'll watch the clue packages.
I've only heard of it, and I've seen very small
Yeah.
bits and pieces of it here and there, but I've heard great things. I've thought about watching it,
Yeah.
but I haven't let myself get sucked in yet.
But yeah, I mean, I think like the day that the teaser came out for their like first song, it wasn't Man in the Mirror. It was like Shallow, I think is what they were saying.
Yeah, you played that one for me, I think. I think that's the bit that I heard recently. And it did sound
I was
that
like-
it could have been.
Well, and I've heard enough Hanson over the years being friends with Sarah for
Have you
this
ran it
long.
by Sarah? Has she?
I did. I tagged her. After I heard it
Yeah,
online,
that's how
I
I
tagged
thought
her.
it was.
Yeah, I was like, "Is this Hanson? I think this is Hanson or something like that." And she was like, "Oh my god, 100%." She's like,
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, then you know.
I'm
come
like-
on.
"It's pretty much been confirmed at this point by major fans." Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
cool.
yeah. They're
I'm glad
super
this isn't
talented.
coming back because yes, they definitely
They deserve
have
a comeback.
a lot of talent
and respect. Yeah,
Yeah,
for-
and I didn't give them
yeah.
all. I mean, not to say that I didn't, I guess, but at the same time, when I was a kid, I liked them, but yeah,
you know, I was thinking
just for
too.
Rudolph at the time.
There's like so I guess I'm just now making this connection, but like I watched so much Disney Channel back in the day because we had it at our babysitter's house, and there was a point where we weirdly got connected to cable even though we technically didn't have cable. Like nobody did anything illegal, but just one day we had access.
Well, yeah, I think it was because the people that had cable before we moved in had it, and then
Or maybe
when
we just didn't
moved
know,
in,
I guess. Yeah.
it was just something that we were able to get connected to it, and we had it. And then there was one day I think that it went away all of a
It
sudden.
did go away
And then
eventually,
it was
but
like,
we had
yeah.
it for kind of a long time.
For a decent chunk when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty nice because we had Nickelodeon was the channel I used to love.
Yeah, I used to love the Disney Channel. I liked Nickelodeon too, don't get me wrong, but I was mostly the Disney Channel. And now I'm like thinking about how much this has influenced my music taste. Because I loved Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera,
Yes.
fucking NSYNC. Those were all people that were in the Mickey Mouse Club back in the 90s.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I didn't watch much of Mickey Mouse Club. I've seen like a couple like episodes as nostalgia ones because I wasn't. Oh, I mean, was it during the 80s that was airing, or was it in the 90s?
Well, the Mickey Mouse Club, I think, was maybe late 80s through 90s, but at least the 90s I know for sure.
Oh, okay.
The other, though...
So, yeah, I didn't watch it in the 90s with you then. I think
Yeah.
I was more on Nickelodeon watching whatever.
Yeah. Well,
I was 5
the
years
other
younger,
one that I
too.
remember, too, from Disney Channel that has also influenced my music taste that I think did start technically in the 80s, and think I did maybe watch it a little bit in the 80s, but mostly in the 90s, is Kids Incorporated.
Oh, yeah.
With Kids Incorporated.
Oh, my God.
K-I-D-S. Oh, my God. I was
I
fucking
forgot
obsessed
about
with that
that.
show.
No
And,
idea
like,
what you guys are talking about.
I do remember Kids Incorporated. I don't remember much, but I do totally remember us watching the fuck
Yes.
out of it.
Well, and like, so Jennifer Love Hewitt was on that.
Yeah. Oh, I love Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Stacy is Fergie.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
So, and then later on, I listened to like she was in Stacy or Fergie, which she wasn't known as
Black
Fergie
Eyed
yet.
Peas.
Yes.
Yep.
Fergie. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
I love Fergie. Glamorous and
yeah.
Fergalicious.
Oh my God, we jam out to
She's
those in
got
the
some-
car.
Yes,
Oh
we
my
totally
God.
do.
100%. It's happened in our car. But yeah, so she was in this group called like White Orchid, I think.
Oh.
Like it was like a girls group before she joined the Black
Like when
Eyed
she was
Peas.
younger.
It was like in the 90s. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When she was when she was younger than now, obviously, but older than Kids Incorporated. But like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that girl group actually, there was like some lip syncing contest that was on Disney Channel in like the 90s, maybe early 2000s, that like her girl group hosted. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head though. It just like popped in my head.
I never knew that she
Yeah.
had that sort of a
But then, like you say, Jennifer Love Hewitt, obviously, like, and I was obsessed with Jennifer Love Hewitt's music.
Yes, you were. And
like,
honestly,
I still love her.
I think that because you were so obsessed with her music, and I heard so much more of her music because you would listen to all of her songs of an album, I would just be, I still, you know, I'm kind of consistent in that way that I only listen to, like, the mainstream.
Song.
But her, I remember listening to all of it, and I loved all of the songs that you would play. Like, and even Mandy Moore, I remember you were really into Mandy Moore, too.
Yeah.
I think Mandy Moore was most, well...
I remember we made that dance in the basement because Marilyn insisted.
To Candy, right?
Yeah.
That was,
you know,
like,
we had fun,
her first
man.
hit, too.
We had a lot, and we did another one to Dixie Chicks.
Gosh, yes.
Yeah, we would do some dance routines.
We would well, I think
you were the choreographer.
I was usually the choreographer, which, like, oh my god, I would love to see those dances because I'm not that good a dancer. But I can direct people, I guess. It's a little bit different, but...
Hey, you know, some of the best choreographers, you wouldn't necessarily guess that they are, but they know what looks good, and they know how to tell people how to do it, right?
Well, I guess it'd be a good... I mean,
how to train them to be
You probably
able
have to have a technical knowledge of dance more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
To be a choreographer. I'm sure, like, the practical application is useful, but it's probably not primary to...
Well, I've seen it on, like, Dancing with the Stars when, like, a coach will go on there that teaches dance. Like, I think the recent one I saw was a cheerleader coach went on there. And, yeah, she was good to a point, but also, like, because she's just the coach and not the one that does it all the time, you could see her limitations, like... That it's a lot different, you know.
Yeah, she just mimics what they're supposed to do. She doesn't have to actually do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this here,
they got a
that
full throttle,
there.
like,
But there are some instructors that are like, "Damn, look how good they are."
Oh,
but
well, I mean, I'm sure they have a history
of
of proving themselves before they get to that point too. I mean, they pretty much have to.
I would like some choreography by the Spice Girls.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God! Tell me
Spice
what you
Girls
want,
were
what
the
you really,
shit.
really want.
I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want. I really want to zig a zig.
Oh my God! They were. That was
That was Steve's shit too, man. That was when we went out to
still Steve's shit. I love
That's
it.
still like
That's everyone's shit.
Everyone from the 90s that was a Spice Girls fan, you know at heart you're still a Spice Girls fan. That shit is the shit.
Yeah, for girl groups, I like them and Destiny's Child.
Yes.
Oh yeah, jumping.
Ladies, leave your man at home.
The club is full of ballads and the club is full of grown.
Oh my God! You guys are bringing up, I'm gonna be listening to all kinds of nostalgia music after we stop recording.
Well, Sam, also you brought up a really good one earlier, Eminem.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
That white boy got it, man. I'm sorry.
Well, when did it become D12? At like he did that thing because I was into that.
I mean,
After
I remember
did-
D12, but I don't remember.
Was that after he did the movie?
I think so.
I think it was around the same time.
I think they were a thing before the movie, but like the
They were all
movie
in the
kind of made it known. I think.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. I don't know facts. I'm just.
I definitely. What was it
I
called
remember-
again? It was called. Oh my God, 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when the Marshall Mathers LP, I think that was his first album, came out. And it got like rave reviews and like whatever in like the New York Times and like, you know, like.
It's funny how like in the time I watched it, I loved it. And I bet if I went back and watched it now, I'd probably be like, this is okay.
Oh, I'm talking about the music, not necessarily, not the movie.
Music. Oh, okay.
Yeah, when his first album came out. I think it was called the Marshall Mathers LP, but I don't remember. The auntie bought a copy of it.
Oh, heck no.
And so she put it in and she was like, we listened to a little bit of it and she was like, what is this shit? And then she was like, well, we listened to a few songs.
Why did she buy it? Did she think that it was something else, or did
she didn't even buy it for me. She bought it for herself.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did she think that it was something else, or did she buy it knowing it was a new age album, thinking that she might just try it out and like
about it. She read about it in the newspaper or something like that. People, it got really good reviews.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So,
because of the reviews it received, that's why Auntie went out and bought it for herself, listened to it, realized what it was, and was like, what the fuck?
Pretty much, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, like she's like a 40-year-old conservative woman. I mean, 40-something at that time, I believe. And like, yeah, she was like,
did not know what to expect.
Yeah, well, and she like, I remember her complaint. Like, I can hear her. Like, she was like, there's a song where he talks about murdering his wife or something. And I was like, I can just imagine as soon as she's like imagining her say this.
I know. And it's like, well, it's funny because in the sense that like, we think about us as old as we are now. We're
Yeah.
in our 30s now, so give us 10 years when Kelly's getting to be that age. I wonder what the fuck she's going to be listening to, and I'm going to be thinking,
Dylan's
Would you
8.
listen
I'm
to
already
these?
at that age where I have to be like,
what are you listening to? What are you watching?
I mean, to be
crazy,
honest,
like-
though, music is no more dirty now than it was back in the day. Let's be honest.
No,
we're just more conscious about what we're listening to because
It
we
was
have kids around.
Elvis
so-
shaking his hips in the beginning, you know?
Oh my gosh. Oh my god, you should hear some of the music from like the 19s, like 20s, 30s. Like some of them are like,
Oh,
there's a song. It's like, I'm trying to remember what the lyrics are. It's bad. It's bad.
what was it talking about?
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's got like a very. It's not even like even referential. It is like literally talking about giving someone a blowjob and then like shitting in their mouth or some shit. And this is like an old ass song, like old song.
So we humans have been misbehaving in this way for a long time.
Yes.
Way more so. I shouldn't say we as in like I participate in those types of misbehavior, but I'm just saying in a general like
hey,
people have been going there and singing about it for a
we're
long
part
time.
of the 2-girl 1-cup generation.
Oh, you're right. Oh god.
I've never watched it, but
I
I've
have
heard in
not
great
either.
detail what it is about.
I have heard too, and I'm not gonna.
No, I'm good.
Yep,
It's cool.
I'm good too. Oh,
God.
man. Well, on a better note for stuff to watch, I feel like, yes, X-Files I liked, and like there was, but I know one. There was wrestling. Do you remember we were into wrestling?
Oh my god.
We loved
Yeah.
Road Dogg and X-Pac and what was it? Badass Billy Gunn.
You know what? I feel like I liked it more because my friends liked it than I actually really liked it, to be honest, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I
think
did
that's probably why
enjoy
I
it. It was
I like it because
entertaining.
me, you, and Scott would all get to sit together and watch it, and I feel like it was something that we had in common with Scott. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have much in common with him, but when it came to wrestling, we all
It
three
was something that we could enjoy
kind of like
together.
round
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
and get
I can
like
get that.
yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
I had
what I
other
enjoyed
friends in
about
school
it.
who really liked it too. So it was like nice to have something to talk to them about.
Yeah, sort of like sports,
Yeah.
like football.
Not just saying that I
don't like-
didn't, for the record, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it at all. I'm just saying that, you know.
You didn't enjoy it like Kayla enjoyed it.
No.
Kayla, oh man, did
Like,
you
I
see that
liked
picture
it,
that she
but-
put up recently on Facebook when she was with the Rowdy Boys and she had their belt around her shoulder
gosh.
and she was like, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so you're like, no, I'm not into it like that.
She's
really,
like, no. I didn't go to any events. Like,
Like, I mean, I did, though, create a dollhouse for my Road Dogg action figure.
yes.
So it was like an old dollhouse I had, and then I made it into the, what didn't it say, like, the dog house on the top of it or
Yup.
some shit?
Yep.
I was like, I like wrestling, but it needs to be like I play with my dolls.
I like wrestling in the girliest way I can like wrestling.
Oh,
Where's my
God.
doll? Where's my house for him? Where's his furniture? And where's his girlfriends?
Yeah. I was like, yeah. I was a little bubblegummy and whatever. Although I didn't, I liked some things that were a little more, outside of that frilly realm. Like, I mean, I really did enjoy, like, music from Korn. I listened to, like, Snoop Dogg,
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
and I really enjoyed their music. And embarrassingly, I even owned the very first album from Kid Rock.
You know
So,
what?
like,
I enjoyed
love Kid Rock,
too.
though. So it's fine.
My love for him has weaned over the years, but yeah.
He came out with a good song recently. What was that one with Sweet Home Alabama?
No idea. I almost never listened to them.
Whiskey out the bottle, not thinking about tomorrow.
Oh, I guess I kind of know
You know
that
that
song.
one?
I think I've heard it before.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's alright.
not a bad one. It's alright.
I mean, you do you. That's fine. You like it.
So another one that I didn't mention was Amy Grant, and
Yes.
so me
Your
and
brother was obsessed with her too.
me and my brother. Well, that was kind of one of those things. I think that my mom liked her,
Mhm.
and so that was kind of like the wrestling thing with you guys. That like we liked her because like we could tolerate her, and my mom liked her, so we had it in common that
Yeah.
we all liked her, and so we had her like CD or not her CDs, her cassette tape. And we would put it
because we listened to cassettes. back then.
Yeah, what's
Another
that? You guys,
nostalgia moment.
they're all hopping on the goggles and looking up what cassette tapes are. But
In the car, that's right.
But yeah, so we would have the cassette tape and we would go out in the street and do ribbon dancing to like.
Oh my gosh,
routines.
that's ribbon dancers.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
god.
where your love of ribbon dance and hula hooping began as a child. Was the
Yeah,
Alanis
I've
Morissette.
always been a flow artist.
Yes. I used to love Amy Grant a lot too.
Oh, it's Amy Grant, not Alanis Morissette. What was that? You said Amy Grant.
Amy Grant.
Amy Grant.
Oh,
But
okay,
I
never
love
mind.
it. But speaking
Alanis Morissette
of
came later.
Alanis Morissette, well, approximately ish the same time. Like Alanis Morissette, I loved too.
Mhm.
That one I always relate
Which
to.
is
The
not
only,
really-
the only thing that I know from Alanis Morissette is "Bitch." That's like the only one that
Really?
I know.
And ironic.
Isn't it ironic?
Oh no, I'm thinking that's not even that's a different person altogether. That's Meredith Brooks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, I confused the two a lot too.
It's okay.
You know,
I confuse a lot of people.
I think that song "Bitch" though,
Relatable.
I accidentally thought was Alanis Morissette in my head too.
They do have similar sounds, like
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
What was that one that was Jewel? She always had kind of
yeah.
a unique.
Ooh, I love me some Jewel.
Save your soul.
Who will save your soul if you won't save your own? Anyway,
Oh gosh.
that's one of my like go-to jams when I'm like in my car by myself. So
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Feeling
really
it.
do karaoke, but I sing.
I'm trying to remember. There was like this one.
I would say, yeah, I sing by myself. Yeah, that's about where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I sing the Levi.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember. There was like this one. She wasn't entirely one hit wonder, but I did own her cassette tape. It was like, I think her name was like Desiree or something like that. It was like you gotta be bad, you gotta be bold,
You gotta be wiser.
Oh my god, that
Oh,
song
yeah.
was my jam.
Yes. That was a good song, man.
hmm You know, in the 80s too, and into the 90s, like especially early 90s, Madonna too.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I was obsessed with the song. Oh my god, on my cassette tapes at my grandma's house that she had lying around, like a virgin.
Oh! Touched for the very first time.
I listened to that song over and over. I had no idea what a virgin was. I like, you know,
That's how songs were back then.
Right?
We knew all the lyrics, but like we had
That's
no
the
I
idea.
don't know what this means.
No idea.
Even shows were at times. I feel like there was probably a
So
lot
much
of
stuff
shit
that
that
just,
we,
like,
right over
the
there.
head.
And the parents are
Yep.
sitting there like, oh my gosh.
But
But you gotta think about it like
This
that
is
now
so
for our kids
inappropriate.
too. Like some of the stuff that we're showing them. I mean, yeah.
I don't have any idea.
What's
what
that?
is.
I can't think of what it is, but there's it was a really popular song, and he's like talking about his like boner popping up, like, and it's rubbing
Oh,
against
yeah.
her. What song?
Feel a little
Oh.
poke coming through
Yeah.
on you.
Like what?
You can't deny it. But I know you can tell I'm excited.
Oh, girl! Yeah, that one.
We all loved it. We all sang it. We
Yeah,
all
she
were
keeps telling him to
into
stop
it.
and back up,
Yeah,
and he
it's
just
a little
keeps
rapey.
pushing it against her.
Sir.
And our parents were letting us listen to it like, they don't know what it is. Whatever.
To be honest, though, it was probably okay because until I became an adult, I wasn't entirely sure what the word was. I always thought it was.
Misheard lyrics? Is this a misheard lyric?
I feel a misheard lyric coming out. Oh man, this better be good, Marilyn. I'm just wondering what part. What part?
I feel a little poop.
Of course, it's poop with Marilyn.
Oh my god. I was like, ew.
He's pooping himself. Now, why did she telling him to back up?
He was gross. Oh my abs.
Everybody's singing this song. Do they even know what they're singing about? Somebody pooping at them? Ew. You guys like that?
Oh my god. excited, but maybe he really liked pooping in his pants. I don't know. Oh my
He
god.
couldn't contain himself.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, that was
You did the
good.
best ab workout I've
Surprised I didn't pee
I was gonna say,
myself.
I think that's the best misheard lyric I've heard.
Oh god.
Oh man,
Too
we
funny,
gotta make a
man.
meme to that one. Feel a little poop coming through. It's just somebody back up dancing like, whoa, what's going on?
Oh my
Okay.
god.
All right, back on topic. So,
Sorry guys. Sorry, not sorry. Oh god.
Almost peed myself.
so Mariah Carey. I mean, did we talk about Mariah Carey yet? She was so big in the 90s.
Natural transition there, Susie.
Woo! Always the smooth one.
I mean,
That's okay.
What transition could I have possibly made there? Let's be honest.
Fair point. But yes, I really liked Mariah Carey back in the day too. I remember, I think my first favorite Mariah Carey song was, then a hero comes along
Yes.
with the
Boys-
strength to carry on.
What was the one that she did with Boys to Men? That
Ooh,
was
I
the
loved
one.
Boys to Men. Speaking of,
Shining down on me from heaven.
and I know you're shining down on me from heaven.
That was a really good one too. Boys to Men in general was also another good one. I shouldn't have, I guess, squished the two together if we wanted to talk about them separately. But
Well, I mean,
we're
we
talking
have a lot to talk about. It's fine. Passing
yes.
mentions are totally cool.
Mariah Carey, she's so great. Boys to Men is so great.
Their harmonies were just like,
Yeah.
you know what? They recently did a song with Charlie Puth, and I was like, oh, so good. I miss them. I've always had a really deep appreciation for people who can harmonize really well, which is I think bred my current pentatonics and just a cappella group sort of obsession. But
Yeah. So question, when did Will Smith come out with music? Was that in the 2000s or was that in the 90s? Because I know he
Get
was...
jiggy with it.
Well, it
Na,
was
na, 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 na.
90s / 2000s, I think,
Yeah.
because really the Fresh
In
Prince of Bel-Air
Miami.
was the 90s, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah,
So-
he had a few good hits, man. I bought his CD. I think I got a CD for
In West
Christmas,
Philadelphia, born and raised.
and that's what I love too.
Mhm.
That's what I was gonna say.
where I spent most of my
days
days chilling out, maxing,
just shooting some b-ball outside of the school.
when a couple of guys, they were up no good.
Started making trouble in my neighborhood.
I
Got the one little fight, my mom got scared. Said, you move with your auntie and Uncle Bel-Air. But yeah, so retract. Oh
my God, we're that old.
Anyway.
Anyway,
That was the shit though, man. Everybody knows.
I remember that and the fucking nanny.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yes.
I forgot about that
And her
one.
laugh, I can't even do it. I don't even know.
It was bad. It was really bad. Yep, that's about right. Yep. But you know what? She owned it and she made it hers and she.
Well, that it is her.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, she made it famous.
She has a new show, I think, now.
I think she does.
I think you're right. She had something, or quasi recently at least. I think The Nanny just got released for streaming on some platform. I can't remember.
It's funny how nowadays all of these shows that we're talking about now, half of them are comeback shows.
They're
now.
retro.
So yeah, because I was gonna bring up Hey Arnold. They came back out with Rugrats.
So I think.
Full House. They did a comeback.
Sabrina.
Of. Yes, Sabrina.
Do you want to hear my?
Which the new one
take
ended
on that?
terribly. Yes, let's hear.
So, because in the post 9/11 era and in the last several years particularly, our economy's been shit, just there's been civil unrest, etc. I think a lot of us are craving nostalgia. And so there's that intersecting with the fact that we live our lives online now, which our digital relationships in a lot of ways and with a lot of people are more prominent than they are real life. And that's a form of sort of digital interaction is to watch television shows. So it's almost when they bring back those shows, it's almost like us checking in on old friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
What has been
to a
going on with their
degree.
life till now? And I'm talking very
Yeah.
specifically of the ones that bring back the same characters with the same cast members with
Right, like
Like
Roseanne.
Roseanne.
Yep.
Yeah. Now the Connors.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then also, what was that other one they
Full
came
House
yeah,
/ Fuller House. Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life.
I didn't know they brought that one.
Well,
Yeah,
that was a mini. That
it
was
was
a
mini. It was like
thing.
4 episodes or something like that. But
what
still,
one did
Sabrina, you said.
well, Sabrina's a spin-off, kind of, or like a
Well, true, I
re-envisioning
guess.
of
Yeah.
the series. It's not quite a
True.
continuation. Although they do play with that idea, though. in
Although
this
there
4th season.
have been a lot of remakes
No
of the
giveaways.
cartoon. The
Yeah.
cartoon one, so that's been around for a
long
while. Because
time.
as a kid, I watched the cartoon and the old like sitcom,
Yeah, I used to watch the old sitcom too. for
and
sure.
like Boy Meets World, and
I forgot
Girl
about
Meets
Boy Meets
World is a
Oh,
continuation
yeah.
because
Yep.
it's Corey and Topanga's kid.
And then there
Mhm.
was also Home Improvement.
I still
Oh,
watch
yeah.
Home Improvement because it's on our regular TV.
I love that one.
I was obsessed with JTT back in the day, so
Oh,
like, I
heck
mean,
yeah.
he wasn't
I mean,
my favorite
he's
though.
still
Devin
hot
Sawa.
though.
He is still
I haven't
hot,
seen him
though.
recently.
He was in I don't know about like super kind of recently. He was in that new Tim Allen show. What's it called? Something about a man, of course, because it's fucking Tim Allen.
I know what you're talking about. I know
Last Man
exactly.
Standing.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Yep.
And I think he had like a cameo appearance on that. And then I know like this is kind of like further back, but Veronica Mars, he had like a guest spot on that in like the 2000s, I think, or maybe 2010s. I can't remember. Again, time. It's like,
It's been an eternity now. Like,
yeah, right.
and they say I'm not even halfway done yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think I watched a lot of, Are You Afraid of the Dark? That's actually kind of made a return.
Yeah.
Dylan started watching that the other day because Trevor put it on for him.
Nice.
I
Was
think
it-
it's that one. I
Was
don't know.
it
It's
a
some.
Bring Back one though.
I love this.
No,
like,
it was the old one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just on. They put it on something recently on streaming.
Dude, you know what? I just totally forgot. I remember all that.
oh yeah.
Oh, I loved that. It was it was almost just like an SNL type thing for kids.
Yeah.
I think that
Totally.
was like a Nickelodeon thing, and I never had cable or internet
Oh,
or
yeah.
like Dish or whatever. We just had like the basic like PBS and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Well, so you guys
So
watched
did you-
like Arthur and Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow was the shit, and
Heck
like Magic
yeah.
School
Yes.
Bus,
Oh man, I loved the
Yes.
Magic School Bus
and
when I was a kid. That
what
was
else
like,
was like
So
Doug?
there's
more so than Reading Rainbow, I think.
Yeah.
Even, actually.
And I think Miss Frizzle, like I love people
Yes.
have like that have like the Miss Frizzle sort of aesthetic.
Yeah.
Even now, like there's this one TikToker that I watch. Her name was like Duff the Unicorn, I think, or something like that. She has like earrings. She does like earring vibes, and like she always has like these crazy earrings and like crazy like
Yeah.
not crazy. It's like pinup style, but like crazy colors.
I
And like
think
she just
kids
like
like
is so
that.
fun.
I just started following. I think she's a kindergarten teacher, but she wears like colorful rainbowy dresses every day, and she just like
Yes.
dances and. So yeah,
Stuff
I
like that
started
would be
her
so
following her
fun
TikTok.
to
and
have
she-
as a teacher. Like,
Those people
oh,
are just like such a delight. I'm just
yeah,
like
they
I
are
love
living
it.
their best life and they are glowing it onto others.
Yes.
I'm like, you go, girl.
That's right.
Or
Well,
man. Mostly they're women, but like
It makes me super jealous
Yeah, I
of their
mean-
wardrobe too, and
yes.
I'm trying to pare down. I need to have all of those things, but they're so
100%.
pretty.
Speaking of teaching, though, also a couple of them that I watched that were more educational was like Schoolhouse Rock
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
and Bill Nye the
Oh, Bill
Science
Nye,
Guy.
for sure.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill.
I love how. Did you guys watch
We're
it? Like,
such dorks. Like,
I know.
I loved it in school, though. They would bring it in sometimes.
Yeah.
That's how they would allow us to like incorporate fun into the lesson because they would bring a
Yeah.
TV screen in. They would wheel it in on the
Yeah.
little monitor. It'd be like one of those big ass huge ones that you
Yeah.
rent for the day with the VCR.
yeah,
Put the
they
little
had to go
tape
get it
in.
from the AV closet,
Oh my god, yes.
which they can never find the keys to. They have to go to 3 different offices to find the keys to the AV closet, even though you booked the time for now.
Well, it's funny how nowadays I feel like classrooms, what do they have? An iPad to every kid almost.
Yeah.
We had to go
Pretty
down to the
much.
computer lab and
Yeah.
we had to like
They have,
rent
like,
our
games at their
time
fingertips,
frames for
like-
classrooms.
They had to bring in like the projector screen too,
Oh,
with
yeah.
like the laminated sheets that they handwritten the night before.
Yeah.
It's like amazing to see like the technological advances since then. I mean, like
Oh,
we
yeah.
pretty much have like a TV in our hands these days. You know.
Yeah.
Like we
Internet
and like
access at
games
our
galore.
fingertips.
Like we had to get a big old game console. I remember like when Atari and Nintendo and shit came out. Or
I couldn't imagine
Like,
being
it
a
was-
teacher trying to stop kids from cheating on a test now.
Our
Kids
first
be
one
right
was
Oh
a
my
down
God,
Super
there,
right.
Nintendo. That was our first system.
I can't remember. Ours might have been Super. Well, We had the gray one. Is that the regular Nintendo?
Just
did
a
have
regular
We had it on
Nintendo.
the
might have been
Nintendo,
the
and then we
regular,
upgraded to the Super Nintendo too, with the little purple buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had
Oh,
Super
yeah.
Nintendo first, but then we got, well, Steve specifically got pretty much every single one after that for
Yep.
Christmas every time it came out. So
Yup. They hooked the kids with that technology.
I remember
Yeah.
playing like,
Donkey Kong.
oh yeah, Donkey
Oh
Kong
yes,
for
I love
sure.
Donkey Kong though. That was a fun one. Oh man, I got that one thing recently, the Super NES that they came back out with all those games on it. I was playing Donkey Kong. I couldn't get past the fucking like third or fifth level or something. I was like, oh my god, and it started pissing me off again, like it did when I was a kid. I
You're
put
like,
the shit
I won't do
down.
this.
I literally
There's
did.
games now that I can't play. Like I can't. People are like, "Oh, do you play Assassin's Creed?" No, because I can't even beat the tutorial because I don't know how to parkour.
I'm not good at shooting games either. I get too frustrated too easily because you die a lot, and I don't like dying. And I'm like, fuck this game. I have better things to do. I get frustrated all day.
Yeah, I never really got into gaming too much. Like, I mean, I liked
The
playing like some of
Sims.
those.
Yes, that's
Well,
my style right
I
there.
created
man.
some like houses.
I made some buildings and designed
Dude.
some things. You just like to
You didn't-
design.
Well, I could just never get past that step because I was too detail oriented, and then I just get annoyed at the fact that I hadn't started playing yet. So like,
You spend 3 days
So
on
you
your house,
should've-
and then you're like, "This takes forever."
So you
Goodbye,
should've
and then you
why
taken
do we
route.
even play this boring game?
You should have taken
No,
the
it wasn't
route where
really
you just
boring,
moved into
but-
a ready house then. You should have just made your character
Yeah.
real quick. Move
But
into
I
a ready
wanted my house to look like I wanted my house.
Yeah,
to.
and then
I, on the other hand, lived my life through The Sims for several years of my life.
man.
Oh, me too, for sure. I'm sure that's where, a
Yeah,
lot of
my-
my stuff comes from.
My mom got us The Sims at a pretty young age, probably like before we should have had The Sims. Not that it's like a terrible game, but like it's still, you have to like go and have sex in the bed to procreate, and like
Yeah.
at some point if we haven't had that talk yet, and then like you can like kill people by lighting them on fire or drowning them in the pool.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know.
it'd be interesting to go back in time and see what actions I took on The Sims as a young kid, and to be like, oh god.
Well, we also played
Oh,
like
God,
Tomb Raider back then too, and like
I didn't play much Tomb Raider
because my dad was into it.
Do you
That's
remember
why some of the games that we had access to were because my dad had computer games, and he had like Tomb Raider and Doom and
Oh yeah, I do remember Doom a little bit.
Myst. I don't know. These
That
are
one I
probably
don't know.
like so retro now that people.
Well, dude, I remember at Grandma and Grandpa's we used to go down on the computer and play Age of Empires.
Age of Empires, yeah. I
Oh,
still
that's
have
fun.
that on my computer.
That was a fun game. Now I play Civilization, which is pretty fun. It's kind of just like a different
same.
version.
I've
almost.
never
It's kind of like Risk, but
played
I don't know. It's
I remember
similar in
playing
nature.
Jones.
Oh, Jones! Oh my god!
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot about that one.
That was like a
Hell
DOS
yeah.
game.
Love Jones.
Was that DOS?
It might have been. Yeah.
Probably.
Knowing
Oh, man.
that it
Was
my
that
grandpa's
like the
computer,
one?
probably.
It was kind of like Life, right? You had to like pay
Yeah.
rent and like
Yeah,
go
we had
get
to
a
go to work, and you only
job.
had so many hours
Buy
or half
your
hours of the day, or
clothes.
like.
I remember there was a store called QT Clothing.
Maniac Mansion. Do you remember?
Yes,
That
I
was-
quasi remember that.
that was our shit, man. I loved that. Oh,
I remember
that
like
was
Jules
fun.
in the Attic a little bit. Who's that?
Do you
What
remember
is-
3D
what's it called,
Movie
right?
Maker? We used to have a 3D movie maker where like you could like in time like make them move and like make movements, and you could do audio recordings on top of them and almost like make your own movie. You could make them walk and have like a background, and
I think I kind of
I
remember.
quasi
that.
remember that. Yeah.
I remember there was like
very bad animation. It was fun
I
at the
spent a
time.
lot of my childhood also on just like Microsoft Paint,
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's
painting
Mario
things
Paint.
pixel by pixel at a time. You know,
Do you remember? You said painting what?
like one pixel at a time to
Big
make
pictures.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you guys remember those things at school they would have us do where you only had to fill in this box on this one and then this box on that one, and then at the end it was a picture? By,
Yeah,
like, making
either
just
like
little-
by
Yeah.
either cut and paste, or you could like draw. You had to draw the
Yeah, like
missing
on the left
ones sometimes. Yeah.
That was always kind of fun.
Yeah. I was like always like such a. I mean, I played with Barbies all the time. That was like my thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was kind of late 80s / early 90s. By the later 90s, I was getting a little older.
If
so
you
I
didn't have a
stopped,
collection of Barbies, you didn't have a life.
I mean, that was more my simulation of life rather than like The Sims. I was like, hey, Barbie, you want to fuck in the back of the truck?
What position do you want to fucking?
Oh
We'll do some
my
crazy
God.
shit today.
I'm sorry, but what girl Barbies didn't be doing the nasty
Yeah.
when the parents were in the room? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not when I was
think
real young, but once
everybody's-
I learned what it was.
we all know that there was definitely some naughtiness surrounding the Barbies.
In the neighborhood.
Oh, God.
But, I mean, then there was the collections of clothes and all the shoes and all the accessories and the houses and the little fold-out bedroom sets and
Like, yeah, the dream
vans
house,
and the
the
convertible.
Well, and I
Yeah.
mentioned the Dreamboat, and, like, I loved the
Dreamboat.
Dreamboat because I used to always... So, the Dreamboat had, like, I mean, it didn't, like, have sharp parts or whatever in it, but it had, like, a little quasi blender on it, basically.
Yeah, I forgot about
So you
that.
could make, like, chocolate milk in the little blender, and...
Yeah.
They had their cool little elements at the time.
I
They were
remember
so
you guys
advanced.
had a easy bake oven at one
Oh,
point
yeah.
too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yup.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I never had one of those. Those were like
Marilyn
luxury
baked
toys.
with it more than me. I don't think
Yeah.
they trusted me with it. Probably understandably so. I remember getting into trouble with fire in the basement with Heather Annie. We we got in trouble. We used to pretend to smoke cigarettes. Yeah.
Roll up paper down
And then
there.
we set the fire alarm
I
off
remember you set the fire alarm off, and you were like sprayed perfume at it to make it not smell the smoke anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that was gonna make a difference.
Yes. Was that me and you in the basement?
I
I thought it was me and Heather Annie that set that off that time. Maybe it was just me and you
Or
that
maybe you
time.
did it more than once.
No, I only did that once. I was scarred. I remember I ran up to the bathroom and I cried and I was all
I remember we used to go in
disappointed
the. Sorry, moms. We used to go in the back room and we would like just light all kinds of shit on fire. Sometimes, like on the thick concrete slab right there.
Yeah,
We would-
I remember we used to sneak to the park and like smoke things and
Yeah,
oh,
we
I
were a
was
little
too
naughty
afraid of fire. I think because of like the burn I got on my face and like whatever. So
Do you remember the time we went to the dollar store and we tried to buy candles with a lighter and we were like maybe 10 years old and the clerk was like, do you have
A grown up with you? And
yeah, like we were like, no, we just need it for these candles, and she was totally not convinced. Like,
Yeah,
what the
she's
fuck?
like, I can't sell that to you. I was like, you're infringing on my rights to buy this. Like, I said something snappy like that. I remember being a sassy little bitch.
shit about it. Like, this is supposed to work. Damn it. Oh man.
I was like one of those products of the 90s though, like where they were like teaching girls to shop and be boy obsessed and like play like Dream Phone and Mom Madness and like
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I remember both of those games. They were fun, and they were like, oh yeah, look at this cute boy. And, oh yeah, look at that fun place to go and buy things. And
We're
you're
like,
right. There was
pretty,
just, like,
pretty
embedded
princess.
See, you
in our
guys were lucky.
brains.
You guys had sisters, a sister.
Yeah,
like, I
I
just
know.
had Steve, and like we
I
didn't
just
play
had
Dream Phone
Steve.
or Mall Madness. We played his video games, and
At least you guys played Beanie Babies. I remember when we used to do...
my mom
God,
was
Beanie
obsessed with the
Babies.
Beanie Babies.
they used to
Especially
win and
the
dine at
mini
McDonald's.
ones. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, you guys remember that?
So my mom, did your mom do it too? Or do
Oh,
you
yeah,
remember my
for
mom?
all of us.
They-
We were
all of us.
obsessed.
So
Yeah.
the mini Beanie Babies, the teeny beanies that they had at
Beanies.
McDonald's.
Mhm.
My mom and I guess like your guys' mom,
Yeah.
they would
help each other
breakfast,
get
lunch,
stuff.
and dinner. We would have 20
having
Happy
all
Meals.
kinds, yeah.
Yes.
We're getting 20 Happy Meals today. Every meal,
Seriously.
so we can get all the Beanie Babies that come out today.
Yep.
Well, I think
Crazy.
at some point McDonald's like added an option where you could buy them individually because the demand was so high. I mean, you might have always been able to do it, but I remember specifically that like they usually
I
had
think
a
that was
limit,
a more
though.
recent thing though. Because I remember we had to buy the meal back then.
Yeah,
like
I
you
remember
had to
that
get the
too.
meal, and that's why we would always dinner and would be like
Yeah.
you get 3 cheeseburgers
I think
and
I
20
wonder if
chicken
they started
nuggets.
it like
Eat up.
yeah, or maybe they instituted it when like there were shortages of certain ones or something. I don't know. I'm trying to remember because
But it
I
makes
swear
sense.
there was like maybe it was like because they did it like not all at once. Like there were like a set of 5 that would come out, and then like a year later there'd be like another set of whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe like in later years.
But
like
then
said.
you would always get the same one over and over and over again at times. You could never guarantee which one you were going to get in the Happy Meals. That's why you had to get so many, because you never knew which one you were going to get.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes you would try to
that day
make
or
the
whatever.
request, but sometimes they would just have what they had.
Yeah, sometimes they had what they had, yeah, 100%.
But, like, the one thing that I do kind of think about in that story is the fact that, yeah, we lived off of, like, Happy Meals and shit. So if we do, like, give our kids a Happy Meal every once in a while, isn't going to, like, kill them. I mean, they'll survive. They'll be fine.
But I still want my nuggies back, my dark meats.
Yeah,
I
those
miss
were
those
really
things.
good.
They were so good.
But no, I also remember on the cousin weekends, because of the Beanie Babies, we would have, like, a Beanie Baby president. And Steve would always win with Ziggy, the zebra. He always became president of the Beanie Babies. So we would always go through process of elimination, where we would go through a voting. We would all have, like, a democracy going on.
Well, yeah, because he was the smartest one in the room most of the time.
He would always figure out to save Ziggy for last.
Yeah.
He didn't go through all the ranks of everyone. He probably waited. Well, actually, I don't remember how it all went, I guess. But you're right, though. He was smart, though, so he probably figured out a way to rig it.
I knew he was smarter than I was, especially when it came to, like, that history, whatever subject that is. Social studies.
Oh, yeah, like when it comes government.
Yeah, like I don't know. Whatever.
Psychology in general, how to, like, manipulate people. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I remember Beanie Babies a lot. Like, I remember my favorite one was, like, the Princess Diana one.
That one was a really pretty one.
Yeah, I think I still might have that downstairs at Mom's.
I think you might, yeah.
I don't remember.
But yeah, there were certain ones that were definitely collectibles that were worth like hanging on to, and
I still have a whole bunch of mine.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But I'm letting the kids play with a lot of them. Like,
why not?
There's a garage sale that I go to every year, and there always is a basket of brand new, like in mint condition Beanie Babies that say free on them.
Mine are in mint condition.
So I always get Kelly one every year from that garage sale because I don't know, it's just the cute little tradition I try to keep up with.
Yeah,
I've only done it for 2 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're like
I've only gotten to it for 2 years.
Over.
They're gonna move out next year, and that tradition's gonna be done. No, but
they have to have that garage sale for like 16 more years.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
That's right. Speaking of garage sales, though, I remember Grandma used to get me bags and bags of trolls from garage sales.
Oh my gosh, we loved trolls.
Yes.
I just remember garage sailing is like part of us when we stayed at Grandma's, especially. Like we would on weekends go garage sailing with her, and
Yep.
I'm going to bring it back to trolls for a second because I have a funny story. So, I loved trolls. And so, I think it was for like my 3rd grade, 4th grade birthday, maybe. I can't remember exactly. But I had some friends over, like for my birthday, and Mom put a troll on my cake. We had a video camera. They were these big, bulky things at the time. So, my mom is like trying to focus on the cake. The candles are going. And my troll fell over into the candle, so its hair was on fire, and we were like, Mom! 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 And she's like, just a minute, I'm trying to focus the candle. Oh, God. And then she gets her focus, she's like,
She's like, I'm sure
that's a typical mom thing.
That would be a
do, though.
great video to find if she actually got it in focus and got it, like, you know what I mean, to see her scramble to fix it. Oh, we gotta find that video. That'd be great.
It might be at your house somewhere. You have all of our old stuff, I think.
I think I might. Dude, we should get Pat to help us convert it to DVD so everybody can have them.
If we did, I could make some fun, like, videos.
Ooh,
oh,
yeah.
Of the one, like, when we're in the backyard. And are you sharing? And I'm like, not sharing.
Lies. All lies.
Terrible.
Oh, my God.
Do you guys remember when we used to go swimming at Howard Johnson?
I do. I remember getting a flat tire one time on the way there, too.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know why I remember that, too, so dramatically.
Trauma. We remember trauma.
Remember all the bad things.
Because it wasn't a cold day or anything, I don't think, but it was just, I think, inconvenient.
Well, it was a busy road.
Yeah, it was a busy road.
I don't think we had to walk. I think we just sat there and waited for someone to come fix it.
I thought we walked to that building that was kind of close by. There was, like, a building that was, like, not too far off from where we
remember.
I can't remember either. I just remember getting the flat tire, and then
I don't know if I was with you guys when that happened. I don't really remember. I feel like I maybe remember a story, but I don't remember if I was actually there.
It was really loud.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was me, you, Steve, and Scott then, because...
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe I just literally don't really remember. I mean,
I remember
I think I remember a
that.
story, but I don't really remember it.
Another time I remember was we were staying at my house, and you and me asked my mom if we could ride our bikes to the park. And she was like, yeah, okay, I'm making mac and cheese. Like, don't be out too long. Like,
Yeah, no problem.
so we rode our bikes to the park, like the actual park in town. And we saw you and Grandma there. You guys were walking, and so we said hi to you, and then we rode our bikes back home, and
I do sort of remember
to have lunch, and we were like, oh, we saw Grandma and Marilyn at the park when we were riding our bikes, and she's like, excuse me, like, you saw who? And I was like, yeah, we saw them at the park. So she's like, which park did you go to? I was like, the park in town. And, like, she assumed that we were going to go, like, to the school up the street. Like, just go play at the neighborhood playground. But no,
So she
like, we
inadvertently gave you
actually...
permission, but, like, didn't know that she was accidentally...
Yeah, like, we were asking to go.
I feel like when we asked, we might have kind of known that we were asking to generally go to the park, knowing that she would say yes, meaning that we said the park, and we knew
But you
that
weren't
she
very
would
clear
know
about
that we
what you
meant.
meant.
Yeah, like, I think we I don't know,
A little
maybe
both
not,
ways.
but I think we kind of were knowing that a little
So, like,
bit,
she probably
but-
should have asked more questions, but you probably could have been more transparent.
Yes. So we as kids were being little shits, like, we
Yeah.
gotta go to the park. And
I
she
mean,
said, yes,
I-
we can go to the park, so we're going to the fucking park.
I guess I thought that, like, she was actually trusting us to go to the park. So, like, I wasn't trying to be sly about it. I thought she was like, yeah, like...
I don't know, for some reason, I thought when we were asking that, we asked, like, kind of, you know, not being very open to the, because I think at the time we were used to going to a park that was just down the street, and she would always say yes, you know what I mean? So I think when we said that, she was assuming that one, or maybe that's just what happened when we got back, and so that's why I assumed that maybe we knew, but
I feel like, based on this conversation, though, like, I remember so many more toys that were, like, outside use than I feel like today's
We
kids
spent
get.
so much time outside.
Yeah.
well,
A
dude,
lot less attention grabbing things.
I remember my
indoors those
Skip
days.
It, and, like, I already
Yes.
mentioned my Ribbit Dancers, but I had, like, my Skip It, too, and...
Yeah, trampolines. I mean, we never had one, but, like...
I was just gonna
Sprinkler.
say,
Neighbors
yeah.
sometimes.
Just a
Oh,
good
yeah,
freaking sprinkler, and just the cheap old slip and slide.
Heck
Yes. Like, I remember that was, I think, the best part about being outside in the summer was just running through spring. Like, I remember when me and
Do you-
Mary actually used to have bike rides down and around the neighborhood, like, whatever. I mean, yeah, we kind of were unsafe about going down hills and standing on our bikes.
You had a
without
lot more
hands
freedom with your
and-
bike than I did, though. Because Scott was around the same age as me, and our brother, he was hyperactive and, like, ADHD and whatever. And so, like, he's kind of a risk taker when he was a kid. Like, so my mom was always a little bit like, ooh, because he's impulsive and, like, whatever. Yes. And so she was afraid he'd, like, run out in front of a car or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
he didn't pay attention to his surroundings
Not
much
very
at
well.
all, so.
That's how I am with Dylan. Like, I'm overprotective because I have to be, because
Yeah.
he
He's
doesn't.
not
he has
pay
no, like,
attention
sense
to-
of, like, self-protection.
Yes.
Yep.
No, maybe not no sense, but, like, a lesser sense than most at that point.
Right.
And, like, yeah, so our brother was kind of like that at the time. And so there was, like, this part of my mom that was like, I can't let him, but we're only a year apart. And so, like, if she let me, she knew eventually, like, in a year, she was going to be having conversations about why he couldn't do something, even though I could. So basically, I just had to, like, not be able to do it as well. So, like, I didn't really get to go beyond, like, the driveway, really, with my bike or, like, anything like that, because those were, like, the limits that Scott had.
Yeah.
And so, like, because we were so close in age, I kind of had to sort of abide those limits as well.
Set the
like
rule.
Susie, like she got to go all over the neighborhood.
I
well,
mean-
some of the time I'm not sure you were supposed to, or at least that it was go as far as you did. But you did have mom trusted you with a little bit of leeway, and Scott was old enough at that point that, like,
She pretty much
You know.
had to, at one point, give a little bit more into that, because I think that she had already been through it with you guys, and it had been like 4 or 5 years later for me.
yeah. Well, he was a little bit
So
older.
it was a
He had,
little easier
not to say that he
to-
was like a lot better, but like as he
No,
got a
things
little
were
bit
gonna be
older, he was
okay.
a little bit less. You know, he was a little bit better. Not great, but.
But right, it was one of those things that she could let go a little bit more once she
Yeah.
knew that he was good, then she could feel okay.
And I think she knew all that time that I would have been okay. And I was okay with it. You know what I mean? I understood, especially now. Like, it might have felt a little unfair at the time, but I understand now, like, where she was coming from. Like, he would have been, like, he got very, you know, like, he got mad very easily and things like that. And, like, it was, like, it could be volatile sometimes. You know what I mean? So she needed to put a boundary up, and she needed to find a way that he could abide it as best he could. And one of those was, like, me having to sacrifice a little, which is, you know, fine. I was a reader anyway, so, like...
I mean, I think at times it probably would have been a little bit more freeing. Like, yeah, I'm sure that having him as the second half of the two, you know what I mean? It was probably a little bit hindering at times because of that, but...
Yeah.
You probably learned a lot more with patience. You know? You probably learned a lot more patience early on in life, though.
I did. Yeah.
So, I mean,
100%.
there's hand in hand, I think, with some, like, that yin and yang thing. You
and
know?
I think that mostly has served me well over time, too. Like, I feel like I'm still a pretty darn patient person, for the most part. You really are.
And I think it serves you well to be it.
Yeah. Well, you can make me a little bit of a pushover at times, unfortunately. But,
I mean,
but, you know, I recognize that this is, like, one of those limitations of that, but
you're reliable and you're loyal, and I don't know. There's some very good
I've
traits.
Some good traits
very good traits that
sure.
come in hand with that. Yeah. Exactly. That's
all
I was
like you say,
at,
yin and yang, you know.
That part might have been a little restrictive, but it's allowed you for better things later on now. So.
Yeah, 100%.
But one of the things I remember outside that I used to love to play with are those fairies that you would yank the string and then they would go shooting up and they'd go. What were those called though? I can't even remember what they're called.
Like
dancing fairies,
fly dancer, air dancers, flyers,
air dancers, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I'm looking. That was definitely one of my
I know what
favorites.
you're talking about, though.
Yeah, you pull on the string, and then they are on this base that's usually like a flower that was really pretty, because I always liked the bases. They were always what I liked, and then the fairy was always a different kind of color and style from one another.
Yeah.
And then, you plug the fairy in on the top, you yank it, and then it just flies up, and the wings spread out, and they go twirling around, and then you have to go chase it. It's like playing fetch with yourself.
Sky dancers.
Sky dancers. Thank you.
Or fairy flyers? Wait.
There's probably multiple.
I think it was probably Sky Dancers.
I think
that
Sky Dancers
sounds
familiar. Yeah.
Well, dude, did you remember moon boots?
Oh my god, moon boots.
They were like these little things you would strap onto your feet
like
that had rubber bands on them.
Huge rubber bands.
Rubber bands. And then you would just go walking around. It was like you're walking on the moon. I'll go jumping in them. And oh man.
It's like little trampolines on your feet, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like those, they were so
But they didn't really help you jump at all.
Not really.
Well,
at least I couldn't figure it out.
I would trip over some of those things. I'm sure those things are probably a bad trip. Like, how many people broke their fucking ankles with those things, I bet, you know? But we had fun with it. It was a good time.
Yeah, I remember I would always bring my, I don't even know if it's called a karaoke player, but it was like a little white and like primary colored machine that you could put your cassette tape in, and it had like a play record and had like the microphone.
I remember that, yes.
And I would always bring that outside with me because it took like C batteries, or maybe it took a 9-volt. I don't know.
100%. You were practicing for your future podcast.
Yeah, I would play on my swing set and sing my heart out.
Oh my god, too funny.
You were at Grandma's house that we used to always play marbles. We would flip over a Rubbermaid lid, and then we would play marbles in the middle, and then the outside would be 100%. Like the thing that you would knock them to.
Oh yeah, we had like lots of little games like that, like jacks and pogs. Oh my god, pogs!
Oh my god, 90's pogs,
those
girls.
Slammers.
Remember Mama Cheryl's? We used to play that with Miranda and Heather Annie all the time, and we'd all have these huge stacks.
Everybody was cheating, slamming those things like they weren't supposed to. Like, I totally did it fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to get your pog that I really liked.
Yeah.
God. How dare you accuse me of such things? Oh,
great.
God.
And then at our house with Scott, we used to always play like Legos, Connects, Hot Wheels, all the boy toys. Like,
quote unquote boy toys.
Yeah, I shouldn't say it like that, I guess, but yes, sorry.
I remember you guys would go in your basement and you had like the carousel and like the whole like the big Connect systems all built.
Didn't Mom help us put that together? It was like a big
I kind of remember. Yeah.
Ferris wheel, right?
I think maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Ferris wheel,
Can't
not a
remember.
carousel. Carousel.
Yeah.
Mostly what
I
I
knew what you
remember in the
meant, but I was
basement
like-
is that I had my Barbie car down there.
Oh, I love that. Yes, I remember. Didn't you give that away to a girl that actually needed a wheelchair or something? Like,
I don't
didn't we end up
remember.
donating it
Mom might
to a
have donated
family?
it at some point.
I'm almost positive
even.
that when we got rid of it, it went to a little girl that needed some sort of like, yeah, something like that. And Mom was like, well, she can use this. And she donated it to her.
Yeah.
I wonder how that worked out. No, in
That would be
hindsight,
like-
but
That sounds like something Mom would do, is to donate something like that for that cause. It
Yeah,
wouldn't surprise
she
me at all if
would.
she did. Yeah.
and
Which I would have been totally fine with if she had asked. I don't remember her asking.
I don't remember what
I
surrounded.
would've
Maybe
totally
she
told
just
her to
got
go
rid
for
of
it.
it, and then she just told us that story to make us feel like it went to a good thing.
I doubt it.
She did
I
get
think
rid
she
of.
probably really would have done it.
She did let me think for many years that I had that Busy Town of Richard Scarry poster still around the house. Do you remember that? I bought the Busy Town of Richard Scarry.
Oh,
Oh
good.
my god, I was obsessed with that show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I at one point took a poster board and I drew out like I drew the worm and the cat and the apple and I drew the pig chasing his hat. Anyways, I was so proud of that poster that one day, and it was tucked away for the longest behind our record player. And anyways, we basically would tuck away little projects and whatever. So one year I wanted to bring it out and I kept looking for it and I asked my mom where it was and she was just like, oh, I don't know where that thing went. It's back there somewhere. She knew she threw it away, but she told me that it was back there. So for many years I kept looking for it. Just every once in a while, if I was going through a place that I thought maybe it could be, I would keep my eyes open for it, thinking I might find it. Well, then just recently, like within the last 5 years or so, she finally not broke down, but she finally broke it to me and said, you know what, kiddo, I threw that thing away a long time ago. There was a weekend y'all went to your dad's house and I threw that shit away.
I cleaned the house.
Yeah, she was like, I didn't think you would ever want that thing. She was like, and then, as soon as I throw it away, you wanted it. I was like, yeah, but anyways, so the things you do as a parent, you know.
You know what? Little lies to keep the peace.
That's right, and it did. It kept the peace for a while. It needed to be kept, and now when I'm okay with it, it's like, whatever.
And as a kid, you usually have a short attention span. I mean, you came back to it every once in a while, but like,
Yeah, I mean, I really,
was fine without it.
But she probably knew that if I'd have known as a kid that she threw it away on me, I'd have just held that against her. Like,
I'm
oh
sure.
God, how dare
and
you?
you would have too.
Yeah, like, it's so stupid.
You my poster.
Yeah. But, you know.
Oh god.
Yeah, like the things that I had that were like things that I made when I was a kid that we like really wanted to hold on to was like, do you remember those like pot holders you would make when you had like the loom and then you had like
yeah.
a little, they looked like
Weave
hair
it.
ties.
You always
yeah.
have like crafty
Yep.
kits. Like
They
I remember
use
doing,
those
like,
as hair ties nowadays.
Yeah.
Do like sand art.
Yeah,
and,
the sand, like there was the sand art where you would fill the bottles, and then there was the sand art where you would like have the picture and you would peel the
Oh, yeah,
like
both
paint
of
by
them.
number type
Yep.
thing.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
did the bottle ones. I didn't do much of the flat kind. I remember doing the bottles though, and you'd like poke the toothpicks on the sides to make the designs all cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like the beads and stuff, like the big old
Dude.
gaudy
Bead
plastic
Animals.
beads.
Yeah, the animals
yeah.
that you would weave. I still have mine.
Me, you, and Steve used to make so many.
Do you have
of them.
yours?
Did you used to make them with us too, Marilyn?
The what?
The bead animals in the patterns.
That's actually that's kind of like when I was like, yes, I love those. Yes, I mean where you put the little thing on the white
We should start
grid
making
and like
some
you
of
iron
those
it or
that
whatever.
are like witchy.
No.
Yeah, not
Oh, okay, never
those.
mind.
These are the ones where like you
I know what
have-
you're talking about, yes, but we're talking about like there's like a ribbon and you make like a keychain and you have like the beaded,
They go in layers.
the beads that you
Oh, I remember
string
where you.
on
Yes, 100%. Yes, I
to
totally
make the-
remember making those.
Okay.
We are now on the same.
We went
same-
on like a
same page.
binge for a long time. You especially.
Yeah.
I remember like latching onto your binge and making a few of them.
I totally
and, oh,
forgot
man.
about those.
I
but yes,
loved
totally remember now.
those.
Uh-huh.
You said you still have some of them?
I still have a whole bunch of like a whole string of mine. Some of them might have been Steve's, but
That is so cool. That'd be nostalgic to see.
they're mine.
They're mine.
We should
Oh,
totally
man.
make like one that's sort of like our.
That's what I was just saying. We should make witchy ones or like.
Well, I was
our
thinking like our
logo.
like one that looks kind of like the moon with the
Our
gradation
logo?
sort of,
Yeah,
like this.
we
Yeah.
should try it. That'd
Cool.
be fun. But yeah, so I'm sure that the two of you can both relate with Tamagotchis. the first virtual pets that were
I got
like,
Dylan
Yes.
a Tamagotchi, and he's not with it. He's just,
Nah,
Our
he's
poor
over
mom,
it.
like, because we went to school, so during the day we couldn't take care of it. So mom would bring it to work with her, and on her like coffee break or when she's peeing,
That's so
she would take care of
sweet.
it for us.
Oh, that was, I didn't realize that she did that.
Oh
I
yeah, she
forgot
brought them
about
with
that.
her. She was like taking care of them for us.
Oh.
See, I had a what was it? We had the Tamagotchis, but then we had one that we fought over all the time, and it was like a Pikachu one.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
And me and Steve fought over that so much that Mom took it from us and put it in the closet, and like,
Yeah. One of the ways they teach us to take care of people. Of course, we had all dolls and stuff when we were young too, especially me. Oh my god. I had such
Oh, yeah.
Barbies
yeah,
and
I
stuff,
remember
but-
you had like the baby that you could like feed, and then it pooped itself, and you had to change
Yes.
its diapers.
Oh my
and,
god, I'm
like,
sure Mom just loved
the
that.
fancy things.
You had to clean the baby doll, like, because yeah, you would feed it food.
food.
Yeah.
Yes. Girl said it.
Oh god.
Yes. And then I didn't have one of
Valley
those.
can poop. Sorry.
Oh god.
Sorry, you said you had one of those. You did have one of those, or you didn't? Or was it?
I didn't have one of those, but I always had my
Water
like
babies.
Bop It and my Brain Warp, and those I spent hours and hours and hours on,
yes.
like doing Bop It.
Simon.
And I didn't have Simon. I don't remember having Simon. Anyways,
I feel like those ones are all almost the same. I like Bop It better, though. Bop It was always more interesting because all the different things that you could do. I mean,
Yeah.
at the time for us, there's only 3 things: Bop It, Flick It, and Pull It, right?
no, there's Bop It, Pull It, Flick It, Spin It.
Well, now they came out with that,
Like-
but the original Bop It was just 3 things. Like,
Yeah.
It's something so like
For the
interesting about
longest.
like as we talked about like about the lifestyle of like the 90s, you know what I mean? Because there was like you
When
had to
toy
like
came
find
out-
ways to entertain yourself, like the Bop It. You could sit there with it like for hours, or you read a book. Like now
Yeah.
everything's so like electronic. Like you're always in like a tablet or a computer or whatever. Like we did things like more out in the real world, if that makes
I
sense.
really
Like,
want
we
to do
physically
like a
did things
digital
more.
detox, but I'm still in school and I have all this homework on my computer I
Yeah.
have to do all the time.
and we're on
So much of
like,
life depends on it
podcasts.
now.
Yeah, and we have to
Social
keep
media
up with our
stuff
social
and-
media.
And like people call you, and you need your phone on you for other
They
reasons.
expect you to
and-
text back your friends.
What?
Like,
It's so like it entraps you to keep on it, so
Yeah.
it's almost so hard to
I was like
do a
fidget
detox.
with my fucking
Fitbit.
Fitbit, which is my digital thing.
Yeah.
More digital.
Oh,
As we
man.
highlight our document on our computer.
yeah.
Well, at least like you had some pets growing up, Sam. Like we did
That's
not. Of course, we
true.
had each other. Like
We
we kept
had-
each other
We
entertained.
had Muskie
but-
on the weekends.
well,
Dads.
yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was super young, we had Mark, which was our kitty cat,
Mhm.
and then we got rid of him. I want to say they told us he went to a farm. Like, I don't know.
But you know
But
now
I
that
think-
that was probably
I think we
a
got
lie.
rid of him because he peed on the house. Like,
Oh,
he
no.
sprayed his,
Yeah.
marked
Yeah.
his stuff
Territory.
everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got rid of him, but then
You just
Steve
spay
got
or
a
neuter?
dog for his birthday one time. So then we got
Oh,
Ruff.
Oh yeah,
And
rough.
we had him until I think I was in like 4th or 5th grade. I don't know. I don't know what time is anymore.
Yeah.
And then we had birds a lot. I don't remember how old. Like I remember having multiple birds, like little parakeets and zebra
I do
finches,
not remember you
and
guys
little
having birds
yellow
at all.
finches.
Wow.
I do not remember that
and-
really either. Were they in your living room?
They
And
must
we
have been
had
in that
fish
back
tank.
room
My
or
dad
something.
had a big fish
Oh, I
tank
kinda
for a
remember
long
that.
time.
I remember the big fish
I
tank.
do remember the fish tank.
I remember the big fish tank, and then your dad would always chill in the corner on his chair.
Yep.
He was
And then
so
we got rid
quiet.
of the fish tank for some reason, and then we didn't have any pets. Like at one point, we were like, my mom was like, "No more pets."
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Our mom didn't really like. Well, that's
our
a lie.
mom
We
was,
had
like,
a pet.
Never
once.
pets, really. Yeah, except for the bunny.
We had the bunny, which she got for Scott because therapy said like it might be good for him to have like an animal to take care of, and he was very good with animals for the most part. And then it wasn't around that long because then Kelly and Orlin moved in.
And their dog.
We had like an extended house guest kind of, yeah, and I don't know. I think their dog kind of gave it a heart attack.
That's what our
Maybe.
conclusion was growing
I
up,
know.
because there was one morning that my mom woke up and came out and found Taffy was the name of the bunny,
And he was just dead.
Yep.
It was like my birthday or like the day before.
Aww.
Yeah, and then you remember Scott's reaction? My birthday present died.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
He was like kind of just mad about it, not even sad. Like he was just like,
my birthday present died.
What
I mean, it lasted like 10 months, but like
Yeah, well, that bunny was so cool. I was literally just talking to Ireland about this yesterday because we went over to Sean's house. And yeah, she has a bunny. And basically, I was telling her about how Taffy used to go in circles. And then she would jump into backflip. Or was it he? I don't remember. But he would jump into a backflip. And then circle, jump into a backflip. Like, it was a cool bunny. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it was sad that he died. I definitely cried, I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as pets go, like, we didn't really have a lot of pets growing up. We had some fish every once in a while. I think I had, like, a betta or two, or maybe a goldfish or two.
I mean, it was rare, and I don't think they ever lasted very long, which is probably why I don't really remember it very well.
It was very short-lived when we did.
I had a cat as, like, a grown-up when I moved back that had kittens on the porch.
Oh my gosh. That's fun.
My mom loved that cat.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because our mom, I remember I asked her for cats growing up, and she was like, when you turn 18, you can move out and get your own damn cat. So, yeah.
You did.
I did. When I was 18, I moved out and I got a cat.
And then you got another cat.
And then I got another one, and now I have a bunch of fucking cats.
So many cats.
I can't get away from them now. You're just like, you wanted cats? You got cats.
Yeah. That's kind of, I feel like, I mean, when we were littler, when we were at like Mama Cheryl's, which was like our babysitter at the time, like they had animals over there. So we got like a
pig. Do you remember when she had that black pig?
Vaguely. I also remember like one time, this probably was in the 80s though. I don't think you existed yet. So like, even in any form.
Theory.
And so, Dad brought home a billy goat for like a few hours, and like it was like it's like a baby, it's like a kid. Oh my god, it was so cute, but it was like wild. And me and Scott were real little at the time, like so. Mom was like, face. And oh no.
Yeah, I bet.
This is when I'm pretty sure they lived together at the time.
No offense of bringing a billy goat home.
I don't know what animal it was, but there was one time we were driving home from like camping or something. We went camping all the time with Dad.
Yeah.
And we brought like a baby animal home. Like, I think maybe we saw like the mom got hit by a car or something and like the baby was there, and it wasn't like a big animal. It was just like a little thing. And my dad brought it home.
Yeah.
Thinking that we were going to keep it or something, and my mom was like, you need to go put that thing back where it came from. Like, and I think we did, but yeah.
It's so sad when you see stuff like that and you want to help. And
did you guys go like camping and stuff with Girl Scouts at all?
I did.
I remember like going out like.
I wasn't in Girl Scouts long enough, I don't think, because I only did it a year or two.
Gotcha.
I went to one of those covered what was it? It was like the tray. Oh gosh, I can't even remember what they're called now, but
like the cabins or something.
They're like cabins, but they're like their own individual covered. It only had like 4 bunks to a thing, I think, but it was like, I think at Midway Village.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just have this little campsite.
I feel like there's like some like quasi close to us, some like Girl Scout or Brownie / whatever.
Like a camp.
I think that like if we look back on like overnight type stuff though, like I did a couple things like that, but mostly like when I remember sleepovers, it was like with Jenny or with like you and Steve. Like
we had cousin sleepovers a lot.
Yes.
Really quick before we go into those, I want to touch on a time that we went camping. I didn't go camping with you very often, but I remember I went 2 different times that stick out in my head the most to me. The first time was, I don't know if this is the first time or the second time, but one of the times was when we went and we were in the field and we ran into a group of astronomers, and they all had their telescopes pointed up at different clusters of stars and different nebulas and different planets.
There was an event happening, and it might have been Haley's Comet or something, or there was something passing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so then they let us look in their scope.
Like, we went from one to the other, and they had them zoned in on such beautiful things that were literally just right there for us to look at. It was so intriguing to me, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
I love that campground.
I will never forget that. Like, that was the shit. And then the second time that I remember the most was when we were, bare feet walking through the creek, Kishwaukee River, and we were catching crawdads, we were catching, like, different just life forms and releasing it and observing it and letting it go. Like, there's just something
Tadpoles
about tadpoles and different, like, and I didn't care if my
playing in the
feet
creek,
got a little bit dirty or if I got a little bit
And now you'd be like,
muddy
it's slimy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
but
it's
like,
just
and now me
crazy.
as a parent, like, I hear myself as a parent sometimes, and I'm like, stay out of the puddles, don't go in the mud,
Don't
like,
get dirty.
like, these are the things I did as a kid, though, and I'm telling him
that I
to,
enjoyed the
like,
most.
not,
Yeah,
yeah.
like, well, I think there's a
Your
time and a
parents
place
probably
for
told you to
things.
not to.
Right.
And I
Well,
didn't.
like I said, there's a time and a place for things
Well-
too. Like, sometimes it's not appropriate timing to get dirty, and you don't have the time to clean them up. So therefore,
Yeah.
sorry, kiddo, but you got to stay clean right now. But maybe tomorrow we'll go out and we'll play in the mud. You know, like, but.
I remember, like, as in my childhood, at least, though, like, we would, like, when we went camping, we could disappear for a long time, and, like, our parents didn't have to worry about us. We were, like, out in the woods playing, you know,
Yeah.
like, or we would be at home, and we would go outside, and, like, as long as we had to stay on the block unless we told them, like, that we were going somewhere. So as long as we were somewhere on the block, we would, like, go to the corner kid's house and play, or, you know, just ride our bikes around the block over and over again, or, like, we would be outside and, like, they wouldn't check in on us. They wouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
They were.
There was no need to.
It
at
was
the
the
time.
90s.
We were the same way, like Mary and I, when we were driving around our bikes, we literally, you know where she lives? She lives way down on the other end of the neighborhood. We were up and down this whole motherfucker to the park,
Yeah, it's probably like
to
a
the
mile or
other
two at least.
school. Like, we literally would walk, me and Mary, just down to Target, to Kohl's by ourselves, to McDonald's.
To be fair, I don't think the parents liked when you did that, though. At least that far. Not
Maybe
on the
they-
busy part of town.
Maybe they didn't, but I didn't
course,
really
it's
know,
less busy
because I
then,
remember we
but-
did it often, like...
I don't think you were supposed to.
Oh, shitty, I didn't know that. Oops.
I think you did know them, probably.
Maybe I didn't. I just don't remember. But
I
thought we
I
did
feel
it
like you got in
frequently
trouble
and
for it a few times.
I don't remember. I mean, maybe we did. Maybe I was doing it out of rebellion.
Maybe it was just
but
on
I just-
bikes or something. I don't know. I can't
Do you
It
remember.
was when we were a
Remember
little
one
bit older. Now we were like 9 or 10 at that point. We were a little bit older.
Do you remember one time we were walking up that direction and there was a car? It was stopped at a stop sign and it started backing up so that we would have more room on the sidewalk to cross, and it backed up into the car behind it. And like, because of, we were like,
Because it was
like,
trying to move for you?
but we weren't, like, it was already not blocking the sidewalk.
Yeah, like we could have gone.
Like, I don't know if she was scared of us, but like she started backing up so far that she hit the car behind her. And
I don't remember that.
Man.
But yeah, I definitely remember. Do you remember when we were at your house and we had to walk to Piggly Wiggly to get, I think it was just donuts, right? Or like some small amount of groceries or something?
Yeah, I think we were getting donuts.
Yeah, we were just walking there and back or whatever, and your mom gave us some money, and on the way out, we decided to stop at one of those, like, turny coin machines where you put a quarter in, you twist it, and a little, like, toy comes out, and we got a sticky hand. Well, we came walking back in to your house, and we were playing with the sticky hand, and your mom was like, "Where'd you get that?" And we, like, lied or something. We found it. She's like, "You didn't spend the change and just, like, buy it?" We, like, denied that we spent the change.
Yeah, I
and,
think
like,
I said I
lied
had my
about
own
it.
money or something, and I was like, I spent my own money on it or something. Like,
Yeah, like, we were thinking we were being clever and that she wasn't going to catch on to
Well, I
us,
also
and,
remember
like,
I bought like those little chiclet gums too. That they were in like the little yellow packet that looks like a little packet of seeds, and like they were different
Yeah.
colors, and
oh, I
like.
forgot about chiclet gum, man.
And I bought a pack of those, and my mom was like, "What is this on the receipt?" Like, it's nothing, Mom.
It's probably what, like a quarter?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck are you guys spending 25 cents on yourselves for?
I walked all that way, Mom. Let me have some gum.
Yeah. And I want a sticky hand.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I remember you guys getting into a lot of trouble together. And you and Heather Annie, too.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, if it wasn't Heather Annie, it was Sam. And if it wasn't Sam, it was Heather Annie, pretty much.
Yeah,
well,
we would
Mary
always...
a little bit.
Mary
but I feel like you guys
a
got into the
later.
biggest trouble with them.
Well, me
when
and
you were
Julie, too. I mean, me and Julie got into not as much trouble because me and Julie were, like, I think more... I think Julie was not necessarily a good girl because she definitely got into some stuff too, but not like heavy, you know, like she was more lighter on her naughty side. So I would get into a little bit of trouble with Julie, but
nothing too
trouble.
major with her.
Yeah, nothing like too bad. So
yeah, okay, yeah.
I had a lot of fun with Julie though. She was awesome. She was like one of my best friends when I was growing up until like about 3rd grade.
Well, I always thought that was interesting too. Because, well, I mean, like
we kept in touch. I went to her wedding.
Add context. So Susie was best friends with Julie, and I was best friends with Julie's sister Jenny, and so it was like we were like.
They were right
always
up the road,
together.
So it was kind of
always.
Like, yeah. Well, we would walk to school together because we were always in the same grade. It worked out nicely in the sense that as we got older, me and Julie, you guys could kind of become our babysitters in the morning time for the school, walking to and from and stuff. So they didn't have to worry about doing like cars or babysitters at that kind of route.
Yeah.
And then I also remember next door to Julie, their Angie and Luke's mom,
oh yeah,
Barb, she used to always watch us 2 in the morning before we would go to school. At the
I
bus
babysat her
stop.
kids sometimes too.
Yeah, and they had trampoline.
They did have a trampoline. They would let me house it for them, and so like she'd be like, "Yeah, you can play whatever."
They had these 2 Siamese cats. Oh man, I love those cats in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
They were the shit.
Yeah, well, and that's like one of the relationships that I regret not having held on to better. But like, you know, Jenny was like a year ahead of me in school, and so like she went to college, and even before that I got a job, and like our lives just sort of like split apart a little bit sort of naturally.
No,
but
me and Julie
but it's one of those
too.
things like I miss her a lot. She was amazing.
You guys did have a lot of fun together too. That's one thing. Yeah,
and I think you did with Julie too.
Yeah, I think we have mutual feelings. I feel like it's something that
it's been nice. We do get to see them sometimes though, because
well, now that she just recently had a baby too, so now our kids, me and her kids are
the same age.
Yeah, like I think
we see them walking around the
few
block
months older.
sometimes. I get to see her a little bit, which is always nice.
I have a feeling in time because they're there and we're here that as the kids grow up and we're doing the neighborhood walking.
We
and
should
doing the
propose like a
parks
play
and,
date
like,
for them, like once COVID is like
underway.
Yeah, the 90s were a wild time. I feel like I wish I remembered more of it though. Like, I feel like my most vast memories are actually in the 2000s, which I don't think we're going to talk about today. But
yeah,
like,
we'll definitely have to get into sometime.
Yeah. The 2000s were a wild time, man.
See, I do remember a lot of my 90s.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember way more of my 2000s.
And I remember, like, because that was the time when, like, my parents were still together.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember, like, family times, I guess, back then.
Yeah.
And, like, going to Six Flags and family vacations and...
Yeah.
Right. Like when the good old days.
Like, sitting around watching TV together and eating
days.
together, watching TV, you know.
Yeah. Simpler times, friends. Simpler times.
Yes. Oh, way simpler.
So, I guess we should probably wrap this up so we don't lose people.
Yeah.
But
it's really fun to go back in
We're
time.
chatty, okay?
You know what?
It was fun to go back in time and to reflect on
talking.
things with everyone.
Yeah.
And now that that's happened, it's time to go.
So I think that we should just say, let us know if you'd like to hear more about our 2000s experiences.
2000s!
Because those were some good times. And I think the next thing we need to do is we need to do our little small business shout out. I've been really liking doing this. But yeah, I think we should shout out a small business again because I think that's a really good thing for us to do.
Definitely. So I know a shop that sells like records, vinyl records, and they have some vintage clothing and t-shirts and a whole bunch of like nostalgia type of remindy things. But it's in Rockford, Illinois, and it's called Culture Shock.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that place.
Yeah.
Do they have a website, you know?
I think they do.
It's Culture Shock Clothing and Records on Facebook.
Okay.
And the website appears to be cultureshockshop.com. That's cultureshockshop.com. Talking about, it looks like it's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to like do some shopping, I think, tonight. Consume.
That's right.
I mean, I like their store. I've been a fan of them since they had their smaller location on the other side.
I'm gonna buy local, you know?
Yeah.
Help out the local peeps. All right, thank you so much for joining us this week, Coven.
Yes, thanks for listening.
Listening us.
I miss my 90s.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we all miss our childhoods. Back when things were so simple.
I guess, ladies, we need to get back to living in the here and now, unfortunately. So, I guess
But we're going to keep it simple.
We're going to keep it simple. But until next time, Coven,
Blessed be.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Midwest Coven Cast.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
And if you love us, consider leaving us a review.
You can also join our coven by following us on social media.
At Midwest Coven on Twitter and at Midwest Coven Cast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
You can also find us at MidwestCovenCast.com.
Until next time, Coven, blessed be.